Mr. Speaker, said the Ministry of Agriculture in its 2019-2023 Strategic Development Plan envisions a competitive and sustainable and resilient agriculture sector, the priority of particularly food and nutritional security for all Fijians, and also expanding commercial agriculture and promoting exports. Mr. Speaker, Fiji's top non-sugar agricultural exports are led by kava. The 2021 data shows kava exports were $41.9 million, followed by dalo, $30.1 million, and interestingly, followed by number 3 is turmeric, $22.9 million exports only, Mr. Speaker, but mostly to US. Then ginger, $13.9 million. Then assorted vegetables, $5.7 million. Cassava, $1.7 million. Chicken, meat, and eggs, $4.7 million. These are the top 7, Mr. Speaker. So once again, for our working knowledge, kava, $41.9 million. Next is dalo, $30.1 million. Next is turmeric, $22.9 million. Then ginger, $13.9 million. Vegetables, $5.7 million. Eggs and chicken products, $4.7 million. And cassava, $1.7 million. So, Mr. Speaker, kava makes an extremely important contribution to overall exports. The leading export earner, non-sugar crop. And Mr. Speaker, we see that kava export in terms of volume and value will increase. Mr. Speaker, of course, Mr. Speaker, external shocks like cyclones have affected all of these agricultural crops, and particularly kava, after Winston. And then that's why the prices surged about 3 times due to a shortage in supply. But we are anticipating that the external shocks, particularly cyclone, will continue to be there, and that's how we are planning. And that's why we're putting a lot of infrastructure on the ground to ensure that it does not affect that severely the export of this. So today, farmers and exporters are, Mr. Speaker, bearing the fruit of the market access that we have developed over the years for these particular crops. So total kava production in 2021 was 13.79 tons with an average annual growth rate of 12.8%. That's a substantial 2-digit growth rate, Mr. Speaker. And Mr. Speaker, agriculture received a total budget of $300,000 for kava production only. And this goes to farm access roads, provision of yaqona cuttings, construction of farmhouses, training of farmers, nurseries, technical support, physical testing, Mr. Speaker. So we have now opened up. Before it was only USP's lab. Now we've got our own lab in Cornebia where exporters can bring the kava and get it tested at a fraction of the price that USP charges. Mr. Speaker, we have distributed 100,000 kava cuttings in Nomaviti, Northern Division, Western Division, constructed farm sets in Ovalau, Moturiki, Levuka, Lau, established nurseries in Ovalau and Manmabalau. We have plans to establish more nurseries in the Western Division, Mr. Speaker, so that we can give farmers, instead of cutting, seedlings, so that the germination rate is 100%. With the cuttings, the germination rates are much lower, Mr. Speaker. With regard to dalo, Mr. Speaker, $400,000 was provided to promote dalo, and this includes 63,500 dalo suckers distributed to 55 farms in Boa and 14 clusters in Koro Island. In addition to this was after Yasa and Ana. In addition to this, 452,000 dalo suckers were distributed outside this area. So, Mr. Speaker, annual average dalo production was 54,700 tons. Annual average growth rate of dalo production was 7.5% over the last 5 years. Ginger, with the improved production and targeting export, we are putting a lot of resources in ginger, Mr. Speaker. There was $3 million worth of material support to ginger. Ginger is a different crop, Mr. Speaker. We need to open up new land every year. If you plant a ginger in one plot, next year you can't plant, for the next 3 years, you can't plant ginger in the same plot because of nematode. So which means every year, farmers need to shift the production in new plot, and after 3 years they can only return. So we have to put in a lot of money in terms of land preparation and excavator usage, and also planting material supply, Mr. Speaker. So, Mr. Speaker, we assisted 333 new farmers with more than 87 metric tons of ginger valued at $217,000, Mr. Speaker. Yesterday, when members were talking about poverty reduction, Mr. Speaker, say the sustainable way of reducing poverty, which they were arguing in the rural, prevalence in the rural and maritime, is to assist these farmers, utilize the resources within them for sustainable solution to poverty elevation, Mr. Speaker, say. And this is exactly what we are doing. Honorable Biman Prasad was saying that we are reading out the budget. Mr. Speaker, say, what is the budget about? It is about growing the economy. It's about, assisting the farmers, the resource owners, to utilize the resources and earn a sustainable living, and therefore deal with poverty rather than just giving them a handout. So, Mr. Speaker, turmeric commodity has a comparative advantage, Mr. Speaker. Our turmeric has a particular cumin component which is much, much higher than turmeric from other countries. And for this reason, turmeric is high in demand in the US, Mr. Speaker. Turmeric is not only used for food purposes, Mr. Speaker, but also for medicinal products. So our turmeric now is sought after in the US, Mr. Speaker. We had spent $100,000 in this year's budget on promoting turmeric expenses, Mr. Speaker, and we have seen that turmeric grew 33.3% last year compared to the previous year, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, in addition to this, we are also supporting. When you talk about export, Mr. Speaker, you also need to support exporters so that they can collect the produce, lift it, and export it, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, we have, for the last 5 years, we spent $29 million with IMA so that they can collect produce from those areas where exporters are not able to reach, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, Honorable, one of the members was saying that, IMA is only collecting for that particular quota. Yes, Mr. Speaker, we can't have farmers who wakes up this morning and say, I need $20, so they'll pick one bag of half bag of cassava, come to IMA outlet and sell that cassava and take the $20. You can't treat IMA like a bank. So what you are saying, if you sign up a contract with us, then we know how we can, what volume we need to secure our market, Mr. Speaker. Without that, we can't. We have contracts with buyers in Australia and New Zealand, and we need to ensure that we have that volume. So in the absence of a contract with the farmer, we then are a bit conservative in terms of what would be what we will be able to procure, and therefore sign up contracts. So, Mr. Speaker, what we have done now from about 6 months ago, we said, okay, we will not turn you back. We will not turn you back. Anyone coming to Sabu or Bua will not turn you back. But this is the quota, this is the premium price. Then after that quota, the price drops. That's the two-tier price, Mr. Speaker. So no one coming to Sabu office or Bua IMA office will be turned back. But if the Bua contract quota is exhausted, then the second price will kick in, and then we can buy it and we can sell it at a lower price. This business concept, Mr. Speaker, they don't understand. They don't understand, Mr. Speaker. They don't understand, Mr. Speaker. Order. Mr. Speaker, yes. Order. Yesterday they were talking about they're talking about welfare of the farmers. Mr. Speaker, we are now going all out in our meetings with FNPF, of course with FDB as well, to make farmers members, voluntary members of FNPF. Every meeting, Mr. Speaker, we've got an FNPF officer with the desk there, and we announce day before, 2 days before, come with your ID card, come with $10, we want to make you members. So we are making quite substantial headroom, Mr. Speaker. A lot of IMA farmers are now members of FNPF, Mr. Speaker. We want our farmers also to receive pension when they pass 55. Mr. Speaker, since 2012, Ministry assisted 25 agro-exporters. As I said, we need to support exporters so that they also are ready to pick up the produce and send it. We have supported 25 agro-exporters with 13 cold storage facilities, 9 packing house, 2 collection centers, 3 storage sheds, 2 freezer trucks, 2 food processing machines at the cost of $3.3 million, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, we will continue to support exporters because they have done an excellent job over the last 2 years in a difficult situation with freight rates going up during COVID-19, Mr. Speaker, but they continue to pick up the produce, continue to lift containers, both through air freight and as well as through shipping, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, having said that, our exports have gone up substantially. 2020, first time we exceeded the $100 million mark, $106 million. 2021, Mr. Speaker, say it went to $121 million. In nominal terms, Mr. Speaker, say 2020, in nominal terms, the value of non-sugar agriculture was $1.2 billion. My belief is today, in 2022, as I speak, it's about $1.5 billion. In 9 years' time, Mr. Speaker, say we want to get it to $2 billion for the agriculture sector and export to $500 million from the $121 million that was there last year. So, Mr. Speaker, say that's where we are. Numbers speak. I hope the other side, members of the other sides, use these numbers. Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Sir.